Hello, you beautiful bitches. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for clicking this video. I do appreciate you. That's your girl Tira, and over here I talk about my life. I do some reaction content, some drama content, and I also play with nails a lot. Whatever brought you here, I'm certainly glad to have you. So I just need you to sit back, relax, and let's get into this video. Hello, hi friends. How is everybody? I am not okay. And I don't know what the problem is, okay? I don't have any reason to not be okay. I'm just not okay. It's real hot out today. For some reason, I'm real nauseous today. I don't know what the deal is with that. And I'm sure, because it comes whenever it wants to, it's going to be that time of the month, right? Like, so I think I'm just like moody. Do you guys ever just get moody? I just like, I'm in a bad mood. I don't mean to be in a bad mood, right? Like, and I don't know why necessarily I'm in a bad mood. I got today's video edited, I got it uploaded, it's all scheduled, you know, description boxes filled out. You would think I'd be feeling way better than I did when I started the video, but I don't. Dr. Pepper break, okay, because we needed a Dr. Pepper in our life. I'm used to going to the liquor store almost every day, and every now and then I would just get a 2-liter of Dr. Pepper. You know what I mean? I haven't had any Dr. Pepper, so I was just like, babe, when you go to the store for my cigarettes, which I'm paying $10.30 for Mavericks. If you guys know what those are, they really don't taste bad. It just is terrible that I'm paying $11 for generic cigarettes. I have got to quit smoking. Let me rephrase that. I don't have to quit smoking. I have to quit smoking cigarettes. I have to start smoking vapes. And they're not even selling them in Logan Square anymore. I don't know what is going on. There's some kind of ban with flavored vapes or something, nicotine and stuff. I don't know. But I couldn't even buy none before I came here, so I'm buying $11 cigarettes. Instead of going online and doing my research and getting freaking my vapes that I like.
Not even that I like, because I don't like them. I'm not going to have an easy transition or an easy time smoking vapes instead of cigarettes. I'm not. It's going to be just like quitting cigarettes, period. And I know it. The vape is going to be helpful. The vape is going to give me the nicotine. It's going to give me the pulling of the cigarette-ish, whatever, right? But like, no, it's not going to be a cigarette.
But I really just have to do something financially. And, you know, it was so nice having them cigarettes from West Virginia that I paid $4 a pack for. You know what I'm saying? It was so nice. And I was able to sell them to, you know, sell cigarettes, loose cigarettes, you know, so that definitely was profitable. But they're gone, you know, and they're gone, they're gone, they're gone. And I knew that, and I was supposed to be ready to start vaping, and I just didn't do it. Maybe I'm just crabby because I had to buy cigarettes today. That could be a thing. Okay, so let's talk about the infamous hospital stay. Okay, now let's start with, I always, okay, go to the hospital at night, and I always take a couple Seroquel so I can sleep, because when you get to that particular hospital, you have to stay in the ER for maybe up to 8 hours, you know, just like in a room. In like the corner of the ER is where all of us have to go. And that would include people that they pick up off the streets who are too drunk, and they bring them to the hospital too. So like, it's chaotic. And baby, I want to go to sleep. I don't want to deal with that. Up to 8 hours in the ER in that section when it's all of us, right? Like men, women, doesn't matter, you know, you're not separated or any of the things down there. Well, I decided I was going to stay up all night in Logan Square and film TikToks. And those are actually the YouTube shorts that you guys have been watching. That is the night that I just broke night, stood up all night before I went to the hospital in the morning. Because I said, you know what? I could have McDonald's breakfast and just go straight to the hospital. So I'm just gonna break night. We'll hang out at the Eagle. That's what we did most of the night. And I'll just go, you know, early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I did. I had my McDonald's breakfast, like fat ass thinking of food. So I was already tired. I was ready to go to sleep anyway. Well, instead of 2 Seroquel, I took 4. I will never do that again. You can take, gosh, up to 1,000 milligrams. I took 400 milligrams. As opposed to 200 milligrams, right? Because I normally only take 2. Like, let me just sleep through this ER process and, you know, go back to sleep when I get upstairs. The first day that you are upstairs, a doctor hasn't seen you, most likely. So you are not given any medication unless it's just for sleep. So I take my own medication. I took 4. Duh. I took 4. Okay. And I was really feeling bad. And I was just like, oh, I want to sleep for 8 days. You know, I remember telling you guys, I really wanted to tell my doctor, like, sedate me, dude. Sedate me for as many days as you possibly fucking can. You know what I mean? Like, that's how bad I felt. I just wanted to sleep and forget I was even alive, you know? I paid for it, and I paid for it dearly, okay? So, once upon a time in my mental illness journey, I think I was taking 600 milligrams at night. And I remember it wasn't like that bad. I mean, I gained a lot of weight that year, but like it wasn't that bad as far as like waking up or any of the things. I had been in the hospital for 32 days prior to that, and I got like used to it, you know? Well, that 400 milligrams, I don't know what I said to these people. I don't remember being able to wake up to talk to these people. I don't remember being able to sign stuff, but I was signing stuff. They thought I overdosed. OM to the G. So when you do that, they want to make sure, obviously, that they get it out of your system. And I remember one of the nurses in the ER, I remember I was still in the ER, they brought my little bag of pills. They brought my little bag of pills, and they're like, what did you take out of here? And I just don't even know how I answered. I don't know how this happened. But anyway, I end up on a medical floor. And I wake up a day later, right, like probably the night, whatever, I don't know. And they're like, yeah, you're on the medical floor. And I'm like, oh my God, why? Why am I not on the right floor here? Like, I came to go to the psych unit, you know? And I have a sitter. And if you don't know what a sitter is just that, a sitter. Someone who sits there and watches your every move. Because you came in the hospital as suicidal, you're on the medical floor, you're not in the right unit. So this person, nurse, I don't know what they are, right, are just sitting there. First day passes, and like she's like, oh, lunch is here, you know, everything's here, and I'm just sleeping. I slept for 2 days straight. Went in there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and 2 days later got up about 6 in the morning. Okay, like I got up to pee and all the things because I was given an IV, but otherwise, like, I didn't drink, I didn't eat, nothing for 2 days. Like, that Seroquel fucked me up. And finally, I'm getting hungry. I've had all kinds of, like, I have these heart monitor sticky things all over my body. I have a box hanging off of me. I'm attached to an IV the whole time. I'm just like, oh my God, now I'm up. Now I am like ready to get to where I need to be, honey, because guess what? I don't belong on the medical floor, and I don't have a sitter sitting outside my door at any time. Because, you know, there's some people up in the unit who will have a sitter. I don't know what makes them need a sitter, and I don't care to know. I don't want to know, but like there are people who will have a sitter sometimes, you know, even on the unit. I just want to say, editing me here, that I don't suggest anyone take medicine before going into the hospital. I do it because I know the way that like it works, the whatever it is, right? But It's also my medication. I didn't get it from anybody. It was medication prescribed to me. And even though I took more than prescribed to go into the hospital, it's not something I ever do when I'm out of the hospital. I would like to say that. But I don't have those. So I want to get off this unit and I'm ready to go. Then I start realizing throughout the day, now that I'm awake, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I definitely can't sleep. I've been sleeping for 2 days. I don't feel good. Also, I haven't had my medicine. I take a benzo every day, and withdrawing from benzos is not pleasant. I don't take a lot, thank God, but it's enough to make you not feel good. So I am asking for my medication, not just the benzo, but my antidepressant. Like, I haven't taken my medication, daily medication, for 2 days now. Like, help me out here, homeboy. And I'm having the hardest time getting my medication. Finally, I see my doctor.
My doctor in the hospital is a doctor that I adopted to be my psychiatrist outside of the hospital. He does both. He has his own practice and he is like a resident or whatever that's called, right, for the psych unit.
I see him. He's like, yeah, you could totally have your medication. Everything's ready for you upstairs. We just got to get you transferred, girl. And hopefully that'll happen tomorrow, because he couldn't see me till like the nighttime or something. Starting not to feel good, but I go to sleep just fine. They gave me melatonin. And I was able to go to sleep. Now the next day, oh no, day 3, you better get me upstairs, because that is where my medication is. All day, and I'm suffering. And I'm really starting to freak out because I don't feel very good. And I'm wondering, oh my gosh, can I still have a seizure? Withdrawal from benzos can lead to a seizure and you could DIE. And I'm like, I'm not DIEing in this hospital on the medical floor. Like, that's not what I'm here for, So I'm trying not to bug up. I'm trying to keep my composure because I don't want to lose it on everybody. And I'm trying to be patient, but I do not feel good. I'm getting sick. It's just sick. You feel sick. A doctor comes in and I'm just like, you got to give me my medication. I can DIE and all the things. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we're going to get you upstairs. We just got to wait for shift change and da-da-da-da-da. But I'm sick and I don't feel good. And when I don't feel good, I'm a crabby ass little baby, okay? When I'm sick, I'm a crabby baby, period, end of story. Finally, day 3, before the night is through, it's like bedtime, I finally get to the psych floor. And I'm like, oh, thank you, baby Jesus. I'm about to get my Klonopin, and then I won't feel bad. There's an intake process. You got to take your clothes off. They go through your belongings. Oh, but they lost my belongings on the 5th floor. I don't know what floor it was on. Now, I don't feel good. And I went to the right floor without my belongings. Certainly didn't come in there with anything more than, a pajama, my purse, and things like that. But like my credit card's in there, my phone, like YouTube, hello. So I'm freaking out. Now I go to get my medicine, and I got all my medicine except for, you guessed it, the benzo. Oh, we got to call the doctor. Well, it wasn't that late at night, so I'm like, you know what, we're not going to bug up. We finally got to the right floor. We need to just be a little patient, and the doctor is going to approve this clonazepam, honey, Klonopin. Sure as shit, before I could fall asleep, here comes my nurse, and he has it for me, and I'm grateful and all is well. Pookie just brought me out some big old fat chicken strips. We had those for dinner last night too. And you know what? I don't mind. Like, as long as I enjoy the food we're eating, you know what I'm saying? Do I miss the taco joint? Of course. But it's better for my pocket, and we love that. Anyways, so your first day at the hospital, expect to hate the food. You're gonna be hungry. And me, I didn't eat except for that last day, and they brought me some bougie ass food. I don't know what the hell they brought me in that damn medical floor, but I barely ate the day that I did wake up, okay? And I didn't feel good, so like I'm starving at this point. Don't want to wake up in the morning. I'm so tired. But if you want good food going forward, you have to be up in the morning to fill out your menu for the rest of the next day. So, of course, I get up for breakfast, make sure I fill out my menu. I get the same kind of every time. You know, you just get a cheeseburger, roast beef sandwich, you know, and then you get to add your little stuff on the side, right? Like what you want on the side or whatever. Food is very important in the hospital because more than likely you're going to be starving because you don't know what to do with yourself. And in my case, I've been starving for weeks already, months already. And yeah, I was a hungry hippo. So I woke up, you know, the first couple days are always good. Because, like, there's no drama. I'm not speaking to nobody. I barely come out of my room. You know, that takes a few days in the unit, okay? I'm still feeling really, really terrible mentally. I still want a DIE, and I just want to be left alone. So, that's the first couple days. I just took a whole dinner break, and you guys didn't even know. How cool is that? We love the power of editing. Well, I soon realized that it wasn't like most days, all the other days. I spent 2 days sleeping on the medical floor. I can't sleep no more. I can't be in that bed. Fuck. Now I have to leave my room because I cannot lay in this bed anymore. Sure as shit. The one girl that I like, okay, she's Serbian. Cool ass chick, dude. And my best friend of many years is Serbian. And she was cool as fuck too until she wasn't, right? I really, really like this chick, and there she is. Here she is coming down, you know, you can't miss her. She's a big girl, you know, and you can't miss her. Here she comes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm almost grateful to see her because I'm like, oh my God, I can actually talk to someone and, you know, stay out of the bed. All of a sudden, it's like she turned into a Mexican girl. She is speaking in Spanglish. She has an accent like a Mexican girl would, and she's pregnant. Okay, she's 40 years old. I'm aware of that. Like, I remember her age, you know, and she doesn't have any children. And now she's pregnant, she's having twins, and I'm like, oh my God, and here you are in the hospital, like, are you okay? You know, and we're talking. Then the last time I was there, I seen this one chick in there, and there she was. And I'm like, oh, this is a fucking reunion. Like, oh, shit. Overwhelmed, but glad to be out of the bed, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, what are you doing in here? Like, are you doing okay? And she's like, no, I just got into a fight with my parents. And it's like, that was the same thing with her last time. She gets into a fight with her parents, and it's like they send her to the psych ward. It's crazy to me. She's older too, 35. She lives with her parents. The last time I was there, she's like, oh yeah, you know, I have a room to rent. And then when she got out of the hospital, she's like, my parents said you guys can't rent the room. Yeah, no shit. You shouldn't have told us that. And like, I knew better. So I'm just sitting there chopping it up with the Serbian girl, and she is definitely not the way she was the last couple times that I was in there with her. Different, very manic, very go, 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 very, you know, just sped up. You know, she was very slow both times I've met her, you know. So I'm gonna really try and have a conversation with her because I'm trying to stay out of the bed, you know, and I really like her, you know, so we're gonna have this conversation. She starts telling me she has 2 different baby daddies, and she's been pregnant with one of the children for a year now. Fuck, she's fucked up. So I'm like, oh shit, she is like fucked up, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm realizing that, you know, she's definitely needing to be in there, and I'm just gonna go along with this story. I feel like somebody should tell her, like, you're probably not pregnant at all because you've concocted this 2 baby daddy bullshit. But then she wants to tell me about the love of her life, and he's in the psych ward. He's just on a different floor because men and women are separated.
And, you know, when we... Ooh, big cloud of smoke, Jesus. She's smoking and toking, honey. I can't help it.
So she's using the phone on the wall that everybody uses. One of them's broke, so we're down to one. So now we're going to be fighting over the phone. I already feel it coming. She's calling the operator like, yeah, give me floor 11. I don't know the fucking floor. For the men's unit. And then she claims that it's busy because he's calling her. And I'm like, yes, you are real fucked up. We're just gonna get through this together, you know? Like, now I'm the empathy is real kicked in, and I am going to watch over her because she's just not okay. And by the way, they still have not found my stuff. So I'm in there my first full day waking up in the psych unit, and they still haven't found my stuff. So I'm freaking out. I'm totally freaked out, totally beside myself. I cannot remember Pookie's number. Now, Pookie knows I'm there, but that doesn't mean that that phone is going to be not busy because we're all on that phone. So he was trying to call. I couldn't remember his phone number. Finally, I'm like, let me try this number, and it worked. Okay, so I'm like, oh my god, hi. It's been like 3 days. He's like, I've been trying to call. I'm like, I haven't even been on this unit. They lost my stuff. And then he was freaking out, but it was visiting night, and I knew I had to get a hold of him because he'd be probably trying to come up there. He visits me every visiting night, and he always makes sure he answers the phone when I call. He has the numbers stored in his phone under my name, and that's kind of what it is, yeah. I just needed to remember his number and call when the phone was available. So days are passing, everything's, you know, pretty hunky-dory. There's definitely some people in there who are riding my nerves, but that's nothing new. This young black girl starts going in on this lesbian chick.
She was actually a very handsome boy, in my opinion. And I'm sure she lived her life as a boy, okay? I'm just throwing that out there.
But she started talking about how it was a sin to bump coochies. And I'm just like, oh no, we're not doing this during art time. Okay, I'm trying to listen to fucking 90s R&B that I fucking picked on that damn music list. And that's kind of how I said it. Like, we are not doing this. And I very much scolded her, you know what I'm saying? And I very much scolded her like a parent because she couldn't have been more than 20. We have a teenager who is playing a PS something game, I'm sure. I don't know what he's playing, I'm just assuming. So it's a little loud and crunk. It's Friday night, okay, and there is a teenager in this house. Then, as days progress, I'm starting to feel better and I want to go home. And it seems like when you want to go home, that is when the real fucking problems start, okay? So it's almost like you curse yourself. You start thinking about going home and how you're feeling better. Well, here comes all the people who are gonna test your nerves. All of a sudden, this woman gets brought up there. Cannot make it up. She is probably the most eccentric person I've come across in my entire life. She is talking loud. She is making sure everybody knows she's there. Miss like center of attention. And she loves to scream nurse. You guys, our nurses are behind glass, behind a locked door with our medication. I'm sure that glass is bulletproof, dude. I'm sure you can't break that glass. So with that being said, yelling nurse is not going to get anybody's attention. It's just going to bother everybody who's listening to you say it. I'm listening to her for a day or two, and you know, I'm like, what is even happening? Why are you yelling for these nurses? Walk up to that damn nurse station, knock on that door, and do what you're supposed to do, like everybody else does, to get the nurses attention. She needed medicine all the time. Like, it was bad. It was really, really bad when it came to nurse. And it's just like, oh my God, no one else is doing this. Like, why are you doing it? Finally, her room is directly across from the phone. Talking to Pookie one day, I don't know. And she wants to start yelling nurse from her bedroom. I lost it. I definitely lost it. And I'm like, okay. You know, I bugged up on the little girl, but it was very much, you know, from a place of love in its own way, right? Because I scolded her as opposed to like popping off on her, and she was being ignorant, and I wanted her to know that you don't, you know, need to talk about God and bumping coochies and all the things. Like, you're not better than anybody who's in here, little girl. And that was very much that. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. I popped off on Nurse Lady. She called me ugly, and I said, my goodness, your mother is uglier than you. And, you know, we just kind of shared some words, but I lost it. I think I had heard nurse for the final time, and do you know she did not yell nurse the last 2-3 days that I was there with her? She needed somebody to pop off on her. Somebody needed to tell her, you bring your happy ass to the nurse's station like everybody else has to. Nobody gets to beckon for their nurse at every whim. No, you wait for them nurses. You're not dying, you know what I'm saying? You wait for them nurses to give you your medication and stuff. No, you don't get to just yell for them. But I did. Popped off all the things. And I'm like, okay. So I gotta stay away from this phone, which is not a big deal. Pookie's not a big talker. He definitely misses me when I'm in there, and he does like to hear from me. But I'm like, you know what? As long as she's in her room, I'm just not gonna get on the phone. That way, I don't lose my fucking temper again. Because I felt bad about losing my temper. I don't want to lose my temper on anybody, but like, you know, rude is rude is rude. And like, I had enough, you know? And I'm yelling, and I got Pookie on the phone, and like, I don't want him hearing me bugging up like that either. I'm in the hospital, I'm trying to get better and all the things, not to be bugging up on nobody. Fully aware of all the things, you know, but it's just like, yeah, I had heard nurse for the last time in my fucking ear. So now I'm realizing that my friend, the Serbian girl who has turned into a Mexican girl and is now pregnant with twins, one of them being, you know, supposed to be due already, and having 2 baby daddies, she starts talking about being pregnant again for the millionth time. She loves to rub her belly and all the things, okay? And I hear one of the other girls telling her, the nurse told you to quit saying that you're pregnant or you're not going to go home. I didn't hear it, but it was enough that the girl told her, and now I know, okay, she's probably not pregnant, and that's probably why she's still here. So, you know, maybe Tira, maybe, just maybe, and I'm gonna think on it, you know, you should tell her, you know, you're not pregnant. But, you know, it's not like we're friends. It's not like she really knows me like that. So, like, that's just something I really had to think on, you know. Days pass, days get longer, and, you know, she's still pregnant. People everywhere are on my nerves at this point because everyone is still in sick mode while I have gotten better. You know, we've gotten me on the new medicine. We're trying the new medicine for a few days. You know, I'm sleeping good. I'm eating good. Filling out my menu, right, so I can get the food I want. And I actually watched a few good movies in there, believe it or not. I had a bunch of really cool art classes. Now, the day before I leave, and I always bring Pookie stuff home from art classes. I know that's so corny, but he loves them, and that's all that matters. So, anyway, the day before I leave, all of a sudden I go in my room, dude, and my whole room is completely empty. Back to, like, if I just went in there. The lady cleaned the wrong room. She threw away my book that I was reading. She threw away artwork that I was bringing home to the Pookster. She really did just throw away stuff she just didn't need to. Like, why did you throw books away? Like, that's not good. But anyways, and by now, yes, they have found my stuff. All my stuff is intact. And by now, yes, they have found my stuff finally. It only took a couple days. And everything was in there. I didn't have to worry about nothing. It was lost wherever it was lost, and as long as it was found, and of course that was a big relief to me. But, you know, between ending up on the medical floor for days, withdrawing off of medication, them losing my life, that stuff is my life. Running into somebody that I, remember from before, and they're a totally different person, and that they're in La La Land and they think they're pregnant, like I'm telling you, she was holding her belly and everything, and she was only 3 months. I know one of them were due and she was pregnant for a long time and all the things, but like one of them was only 3 months. So that sounds so terrible, but like that is what I dealt with my entire visit. She didn't go home before me, and she was in there before me. She did get out like 5 days later because I was trying to call her. So this is what I ended up deciding. Tira, you can't tell her in here. The day that I went home, I got up for breakfast so I could give people my food. That's what I do in the morning, because when you leave by 10 a.m., I don't need to eat a meal, so I just give it to everybody else who's hungry back, because they be some hungry back bitches. I've never seen women eat the way that I've seen women eat in a psych ward, period. And she tells me that they did a blood test the day before and they are lying to her by telling her she is not pregnant. So I said, wow. Yeah, this confirmed that I made the right decision, because she's really just not gonna buy it. I'm sure they've already told her she failed pregnancy tests and all the things, right? So like, I'm sure that's why they've told her to not talk about being pregnant. And I'm like, yeah, she's just not going to believe them, and that's just where we're at with that, I'm like, I'm going to tell her when I get out of the hospital. I'm going to call up here, and I'm going to talk to her, and I'm going to tell her, you are not pregnant, and, you have to get better. You have to get out of there. Really, that's it. That's all. I tried to call her for them 5 days, and I just kept getting a busy signal. I'm sure them girls were all over the phone. I did have one more falling out over the phone. Some little girl really thought she was like gonna get jazzy and thought she was gonna fight, and it was over the phone. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this with you, little girl. I'm not doing it. She couldn't have been more than 20. She was like 5'2". And I'm just like, wow, these girls are losing their minds, and like, I'm not gonna be like the one to do it with them. That one wasn't as, So after 8 days in the hospital in total, I was allowed to go home, and I should have been out by like 10 a.m. and of course I wasn't out until like noon. So that was just to top off my Nightmare on Elm Street visit. And this is hoping that I don't have to ever go to a hospital again. That is my hope every time I leave one.
I think I have talked more than enough. I don't know if any of this is going to make sense. I don't know anything until I edit it, so we'll see.
But I appreciate you guys for listening. I cannot end this video without giving you my experience with a normal, all the time, because this was a Nightmare on Elm Street visit. Okay, that's all this was. I have to tell you guys what a hospital visit is really like, and I think I can sum it up for you pretty quick. You do almost always spend a lot of time in the ER. You have to see a crisis worker, and they have to decide if you do belong in the hospital. You most likely will not see a psychiatrist the day that you go into the ER and tell them that you need help, okay? And you're most likely not going to get your medication, okay, that probably you like to have that day. But you're gonna sleep fine, okay? They're gonna give you medicine to sleep, and then you'll wake up and you'll see the psychiatrist, and they'll give you the medicines that you need to be on, or start you in medicines, or whatever the case may be, okay? And then you start getting your medicine. Your only goal is to focus on yourself. Go to all the groups that you can. Don't mingle, don't make friends. I don't make friends. I just happen to see someone, again for the third time. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, she's cool as hell. Otherwise, you focus on your own mental health, and you focus on getting yourself better. And it's almost always going to be more chaos than anything you want to deal with. But that's part of being in a mental hospital. And you're going to run into people who trigger the fuck out of you. And not reacting is always the best reaction, because all you do is work yourself up and everybody around, right? And it's really that they'll never lose your belongings. That's never happened to me. I've probably been in 50 hospitals. It has never happened to me. That is very scary. Like, no, this was just a nightmare story. And you guys, if you need help, go get help. The ER might take 8 hours before you go and you have your own room or bed or whatever the case may be, but it's worth it. And you go and you feel better, and you focus on yourself, and you do all the groups, and you leave your room, and you eat all your meals and all the things, and then you get to go home, hopefully feeling way better. Now I can go. That is my most recent Nightmare on Elm Street mental hospital visit. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace out, girls.